Here with this week's hottest stories in the investment world, this is Zach's Friday Finish Line.
Hello and welcome back to the Zach's Friday Finish Line. I'm Ryan McQueeney, an associate stock strategist here at Zach's, along with one of our editors, Maddy Johnson.
Hello, today is Friday, September 14th, and as always, we are here with the recap of this week's biggest stories in the investment and financial world. President Trump's social media feeds were once again grabbing headlines this week with the tweeter-in-chief. Oh, I like that. Really, honestly, that should be his byline.
Mm-hmm.
He issued controversial post about Puerto Rico, JP Morgan chief Jamie Dimon and Apple's supply chain.
Among other things.
Among many other things, of course. But these were definitely the three of the top.
Yeah, definitely. Elsewhere, Americans on the southeast coast are gearing up for the effects of Hurricane Florence, which made landfall on Thursday amid mandatory evacuation orders in the Carolinas. So we'll just start with saying our thoughts are definitely with any and all listeners who may be affected by the storm or have family in the area.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone was able to find safe passage when the evacuation orders were issued or otherwise hunkered down and ready for it.
Yeah.
So.
I think the category, I think it dropped down to a category 2, but I think they were saying that didn't necessarily mean it was weaker.
Yeah.
The satellite images were really
Crazy.
terrifying to look at. So just like you said, I hope everyone is safe and everyone got out. What's really interesting with big hurricanes like these is looking at industry stocks, so restaurant stocks, insurance stocks, and companies like Home Depot and Lowe's, how their stocks move on the market.
Construction and stuff like that for repairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, even into last year, this is drawing a lot of comparisons to Harvey, especially in the way that it's going to come and just kind of sit for a while. And one thing that Harvey ended up having an impact on that I don't know if anyone could have necessarily or was predicting ahead of time was a pretty noticeable chunk out of domestic auto sales.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
That could be something to watch as well. But yeah, I mean, if I think it's always weirdly grim and whatnot to be talking about investment strategies with natural disasters. But, if it's going to affect your portfolio, definitely watch out and be on alert if you have exposure to a restaurant with a lot of
Bojangles.
Yeah, Bojangles was my example that I was going to use. Definitely, I can think of a couple other chains that are down there specifically, and those are things you want to watch out for sure.
Definitely. But kind of moving into more of our neck of the woods. So global investors also had a lot to chew on this week. So let's kind of start in Cupertino, California, where the world's largest tech company held one of its biggest events of the year.
Yeah, so Cupertino, home to Apple and the elegant Steve Jobs Theater, which hosted Apple's annual iPhone event, iPhone reveal event, pre-holiday consumer gadgets
at this point.
Yeah, their annual early September event that happened on Wednesday. It's customary, as we said, to debut the new version of the iPhone, whatever it's going to be that year, and then some other gear and gadgets ahead of the holiday shopping season. So we'll start with the iPhones and kind of work our way down from there. The core iPhone line, it's an S year, I think, as we mentioned here, which means updates to the iPhone 10 as kind of the framework. So we got the iPhone 10s and the iPhone 10s Max. The 10s Max is cool, I guess, because it's a record breaker for the company. It's going to feature a 6.5-inch display, which is the largest ever display on an iPhone, and kind of bordering onto the world of tablets. At what point?
It's going to be a big phone.
And that's the Super Retina OLED display. And then, all of these devices are going to have the edge-to-edge stuff that was debuted in the iPhone 10. So the iPhone 10s Max, we'll actually, let's start with that regular iPhone 10. That's going to start at $999. So it seems like that $1,000 price point is the new norm for the base model.
Okay.
The 512 gigabyte 10s Max, so that's the largest storage capacity of the biggest phone, is going to be about $1,500, which is just crazy.
Yes. But the regular Max starts at like $1,099.
Yeah, or maybe 1,200. No, I think it's only $100 more, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Wish I had the little handy chart with the thing all listed, but I don't. Just have a couple of the prices. But if you're saying, oh my gosh, wow, that's a lot of money, have no fear, because Apple also gave you a really affordable option, super cheap discount version. So kind of as expected, there was a cheaper version announced, so they're now rolling with 3 iPhones this year. The iPhone XR is what they dubbed it. It's going to be a 6.1-inch display, which is actually slightly bigger than the regular XS, but it's going to have what's called a liquid retina display. So it's an LCD screen, as opposed to the Super Retina OLEDs in the regular XS's. And have no fear, Apple is calling it the most advanced LCD screen in the industry.
Okay.
So, and it's also going to have that edge-to-edge display of the iPhone X, but comparably, it's going to have a larger or a longer battery life than the iPhone 8. So it's like more of a step up from the 8 than...
Got it.
Right. So somewhere in between like the 10 and the 8 and the XS, and it's like a happy medium of them all, and it only costs a real bargain hunting $749 is the starting price, which I just want to point out real quick is like how much the regular ones, new ones used to cost like not that long ago. So it's like, it's kind of like when Kohl's marks something up and then discounts it. It's like it's not really that much of the affordable option.
Those Kohl's signs, like regular price, and then like everything is always like 40% off at Kohl's. So you always like see like what you're really paying and then what it's like actually costing. It's Kohl's is weird.
So they basically they bumped up the base price for the regular new version of the iPhone every year, and then they introduced a downgraded, air quotes downgraded version of the new one that's going to be back at the old price that they used to. So we're really working a full sales cycle.
I will
here.
say,
a lot of marketing going on.
If you wanted to, if this is like too much, you can get an iPhone 7 for $449. So if you wanted to just be like, I don't need an X.
Yeah.
And an iPhone 7 is basically the same as an iPhone 8. It's just not.
Yeah, that's true.
With less, it doesn't have as good of a camera.
Yeah.
But that's always an option.
I would say if you're going to go back to the 7, you might as well just go back to the 6 then, so you get the headphone jack still. But,
that is true.
Hey, whatever.
And they also have like your that program that you can, so you're not necessarily paying
the upgrade program. Yeah.
So you're not paying that $9.99 right out of pocket, which is what I do. So I pay it's like a $45 every month.
Yeah.
It gets pulled out of, I get like my credit card gets charged.
Yeah. Very few people are showing up to the Apple store with the $1,000.
Oh, you don't.
Cash.
Oh, you don't do your wad of 20s.
Don't do that. No, I pay that through over 24 months. But yeah, okay. So those are the iPhones. We also had the Apple Watch Series 4 in terms of notable device announcements. 3 new heart rate features. You're also going to be able to take an ECG, and then also going to have, it has this like, I don't know how to feel about it. I would say cool. I guess it's cool. There's a fall detection and like emergency call feature where if you have it activated and it can tell when you fall.
Oh.
And then if you don't move for a minute, it calls 911 for you.
Oh, that's
so
kind
like
of cool.
It's kind of like a life alert thing. I could see it being a way that they get this in the hands of like older people. If
Definitely.
that makes sense, people living alone.
My grandpa needs this.
Yeah, it's like life alert essentially in that way. Also,
but it's also getting older people to actually wear it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think from the first moment that they announced the Apple Watch, I think most people were like, it should be a fitness wearable. It should be a fitness wearable. It should be a fitness wearable. So it seems like they're doubling down on that. Also say in terms of that like fall over and don't move for a minute thing, college freshmen.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
College freshmen getting blackout drunk. Like you watch out. I might disable that feature or maybe definitely make sure it's enabled before you go out to all all our young listeners out there. Because, you never know. And then I wanted to wrap things up by mentioning nothing new on the Mac side of things, and also outside of the kind of rumor mill, nothing new in iPad world. And heading into it, I had heard a lot of iPad related buzz. I had heard new iPads switching over to USB-C instead of the Lightning cord, and we didn't get it. So that was kind of a surprise.
Well, and I was also, personally hoping for a new batch of Macs, because I know there was a lot of issues with the keyboards on the MacBooks, like consumer reviews.
Yeah,
and, like the keyboards could be better.
And people didn't love the that like slidey, touchy.
The touch bar.
Yeah, on the new MacBook Pros. So
maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year. Maybe after the holidays or something like that. But speaking of holiday shopping season, it's almost coming.
It's basically Christmas. Yeah, is what we're saying.
Yeah, we're starting to see some retailers make some moves on holiday shopping already.
Yeah, when I was home over Labor Day, I went into Home Goods to buy candles. That's where I get my candles. They have really good prices, if anyone's wondering, anyone's curious. But they had Halloween decorations out. And then basically everyone, I'm pretty sure you can find Christmas decorations somewhere.
Interesting. Yeah. No, that doesn't shock me, because if you're going to go, like, you might as well just do it all in one.
Do it all in one batch.
Like, if I'm going to buy Halloween decorations, then I also, like, by the time
just skip over Thanksgiving. Like, everyone, I think, like, has like their turkeys already.
Have your Christmas decorations up by Thanksgiving. So you have people that entertain, and you have this whole holiday aesthetic going on already. And that's why you play it like that, because you give yourself a good 10 to 14 days after Halloween to get all your Halloween decorations down. And then, wouldn't you know, it's the middle of November and it's the Christmas season already. So put those up.
Yeah. So the holiday season, it's kind of been rumbling that it's going to be a big one for retailers.
Yeah.
And so there's been solid consumer spending. And thanks to a tight labor market, this is definitely going to be a right combination for a healthy holiday shopping season this year. And speaking of retailers, Target announced Thursday that it is set to hire 20% more seasonal workers during the upcoming holiday shopping period. And this is a sizable amount, and it will be dedicated to online order fulfillment. Yeah. So as Target said, it expects to double the number of holiday employees that work on online order fulfillment. I cannot talk today.
You can say that 5 times.
Oh my God. I don't think I could do it if $1 million was on the line. So about 7,500 of these seasonal employees will just be added to fulfillment and distribution centers, which is probably what other big box retailers like Walmart and other department stores like Macy's, Nordstrom, JCPenney, well, maybe not JCPenney. But other stores will probably be doing as well. Amazon. Other retailers have also announced a holiday hiring plan. So Macy's said, speaking of Macy's, they hope to hire 80,000 seasonal workers. Mm-hmm. That is insane. Kohl's also launched its holiday hiring, quote unquote, earlier than ever before in July.
Yeah. So they got
Christmas in July.
They got started real early. Yeah.
And the National Retail Federation has not released its official projections for the winter holiday shopping season yet, but Wall Street will hope that the sector can outperform the $692 billion in sales it saw in the months of November and December last year. And about $138 billion of this was online or non-store shopping, so probably through the mobile apps of many of our favorite stores.
Yeah, so that's where the fulfillment and specifically just online sales help is going to come in. Is if you see a significant uptick in terms of just even the share of that, like you forget what the total number is, if the share of that for e-commerce shopping, it increases by a significant amount, then like your whole where you need those bodies is got to be different than it was in the past. What might have been a busy holiday shopping season a few years ago, meaning the stores were busy, is now a bunch of people in a back room scrambling to fulfill online orders and handle returns and issue. I mean, it's a mess. So the retail sector continuing to shift, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be crazy busy somewhere. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm already planning on going out shopping for Black Friday, like, and it's September 14th.
Yeah.
So,
and me too. I'm also a Cyber Monday guy.
Cyber Monday.
Yeah, so I love that. And, the one other thing I wanted to bring up here was if all of these retailers have plans to increase their hiring for seasonal employees with unemployment at like 3.9%, where are they going to get those people from? Could be a potential talking point here.
No, that's a really good point.
So we'll see. I'm sure we'll see more of these plans, and now it's still early. We kid a little bit here, but it's still early. I'm sure we'll see more.
We kid, but it creeps up on us so fast.
And it really is. It's cliche to say it at this point, but it gets earlier every year.
Yeah,
it gets earlier and earlier every year. That's a real thing. Like, I can't ever remember talking about Christmas on September 14th before, but here we are. So
I know.
Moving on to, hey, look, we're going to actually talk about the holiday shopping season again. So I wanted to highlight some video game stocks this week because it was an interesting week for a few game publishers as Wall Street grows more bullish about the video game industry ahead of new releases and the busy holiday shopping season. So we'll start with Activision Blizzard, which drew analyst acclaim because of the new Blackout game mode in its upcoming Call of Duty Black Ops 4 game. Blackout is meant to rival Epic Games' Fortnite Battle Royale, a free-to-play shooter which has attracted more than 100 million gamers since launching just last year. That's obviously insane success. In considering this success, it's really no surprise that video game behemoths like Activision would attempt to cash in on the Battle Royale structure. What's more, the cult-like fandom surrounding Fortnite really, to me, underscores new revenue opportunities in the ever-growing worlds of esports, live streaming, and collectibles. So it's not just about the game here. It's about how big the franchise can get when you have at the end of the day, the esports and the live streaming is like free advertising for the game. And then you get this whole nother wing of things, which is this collectibles market, your merch, all that type of stuff. And
what are those little
Funko dolls?
Funko.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
FNKO is the ticker there. We could have done a story about that this week because the wind got taken out of those sales really hard this week. A lot of profit taking battered that stock down after a crazy recent IPO run. Looked like just profit taking. I couldn't really find a story on it or a reason why, but Funko experiencing some volatility. But yeah, even Funko was like a Fortnite investment opportunity because they signed a deal to become the first toy company to do a Fortnite branded toy. And while it's amazing that Fortnite has been able to grow as fast and as large as it is, Call of Duty at the end of the day is the best-selling shooter franchise of all time. Activision Blizzard.
I even know what Call of Duty is. So.
Activision Blizzard is at the end of the day a much bigger company than Epic Games, which makes Fortnite. And I have an inkling feeling that now that this Battle Royale thing has made its way over to the biggest shooter game in the world, the biggest shooter franchise in the world, that Activision might become the new king of the Battle Royale mode. So that's a storyline to keep your eyes on. Although I will say, part of the thing that makes Fortnite so popular is it's free.
Sure.
Call of Duty $65, $70. So that's the opposite of free. But definitely, it's interesting to see such a big company be like, that's a great idea, and we'll be borrowing that.
Can you play Call of Duty on PlayStation and Xbox?
PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Wii U, the whole everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I also wanted to highlight Take-Two. They make the Red Dead games, the 2K sports games. Actually saw positive analyst sentiment this week on the back of the upcoming title Red Dead Redemption 2, which is the third installment in the Red Dead franchise. Stifel raised its price target for the stock to $144 from $137 after its pre-sales analysis for Red Dead Redemption 2 saw robust performance there already. And then Take-Two also celebrated the release of NBA 2K19 on Tuesday, which should be another thing that could really take off in the esports world. We saw the NBA 2K League become one of the biggest stories in American esports, with like every NBA franchise joining on board and sponsoring an accompanying 2K esports franchise. So definitely another esports stock to watch there in Take-Two. And then, wow, we are just unintentionally building amazing segues today because...
Actually, I have a really random question before you get into that amazing segue. Have they made a Call of Duty movie?
No Call of Duty movie. I have not heard of any plans to. Although,
Which kind of surprises
Light
me.
Bulb, I would have to imagine they will at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it probably won't be good because no video game movie has ever been good.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yeah. No, yeah, nothing. Nothing jumps out to me as ever good. Did you see? I didn't see it, so I don't know if it was good. But the Rampage movie with The Rock was technically based off of like an old arcade cabinet game.
I have not seen it. However, I kind of want to. I didn't want to pay to see it in the theaters.
Okay, yeah, that's reasonable. It was the one that Rock was battling the giant monsters
Wolf?
right before it was The Rock versus the building. Which
yes,
was the
skyscraper.
Yeah.
Man, just churning out those movies.
But no, have you ever seen the movie Enemy at the Gates? Jude Law is in it.
No.
He's a Russian. He's a sniper in Russia in the Battle of Stalingrad.
I know what you're talking about, but I never saw it.
Okay, yeah. So while there has not been a Call of Duty movie, the opening scene in, I believe it's the third Call of Duty, maybe the second Call of Duty.
Yeah.
The opening scene in the like career mode, that's not the right word for it. The story mode part of it is like a literal shot for shot remake of Enemy at the Gates.
Oh.
To the point where they had to have gotten permission for it, or else like huge plagiarism thing going on there. And it's to the point where I saw Enemy at the Gates like 3 years after I had played that video game, and I was like, I have lived this experience before. I was there. What is going on? And it took me a second, and I realized that it's to the point where it comes all the way down to like there's a scene at Enemy at the Gates where he's shooting someone in like a bombed out building, and he's like told to wait until the airplanes go above that make noise, and it'll hide his bullet. And that exact like line of like wait till the airplanes go and you can shoot happens in the Call of Duty game. So it's like it's been on the big screen. It's been on the big screen before. So I'm sure at some point Activision
I kind of want to
Blizzard
research this now.
Yeah, it's insane. I'll tell you that much. But
All
yeah,
right.
I could see The Rock in a Call of Duty game.
You know
Definitely.
he's gonna pop up. So even if he's like wasn't first build, he'll like pop up somewhere.
Yeah. So back to my amazing segue.
Back to your amazing
segue finale. Speaking of video games, another video game adjacent stock in AMD, which has been just on a crazy streak recently.
Oh yeah, AMD, red hot chip stock. So shares of AMD dipped into the red in late afternoon trading. But it was yet another solid week for the stock as investors pile into what has become the tech sector's favorite momentum stock. So AMD is now up over 175% in just the past 6 months alone. And analysts can't stop raving about the strides it has made in capturing shares of key markets from major competitors. So for instance, FBN Securities initiated coverage on AMD with an outperform rating and a price target of $40 on Thursday. And this bullish call would represent a 24% climb from the stock's Wednesday close. FBN also noted AMD's uptick in EPYC server chips, Ryzen processors, and partnerships with video game console makers. Notably, the analyst firm said that AMD's relationship with Microsoft and Sony should help the company as far out as fiscal 2020 as those manufacturers begin their next console cycle. So, AMD making #money moves, as Cardi B would say.
Wow. Great reference.
Thank you. Yeah, just a great all-around.
It's been a crazy run for AMD.
Yeah.
It really, really has. As you said, one of Wall Street's favorite tech momentum stocks. Cooled off a little bit in Thursday afternoon trading, but like you can't be green all the time. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. Please note the September 14th, 2018 episode of the Friday Finish Line as the one which we nailed all of the segues. We'll continue. We're going to try to be inspired by AMD's momentum and keep that streak riding next week. In the meantime, you can remember to shoot us an email at podcast@zax.com if you want us to cover a different story or if you thought we missed anything. You can also check out all of our other exclusive audio content at zax.com/podcasts. Remember to subscribe and leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts. We're also available on Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts from. Thanks, as always, for joining us, and we will see you next time on the Zax Friday Finish Line.